Thank you. And good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone today? I want to welcome you to this special winter cantata focused on the solstice, which we are fast approaching. So we're grateful that you are all here with us today. I have just a few announcements I would like to share with you. The first is that our December pre-K and kinder religious exploration video is uploaded to our YouTube channel. It's a perfect day to watch as it's about the winter solstice. So thank you to all who participated in its production. They're always super fun and creative and imaginative. Even if you don't have a kindergarten or a pre-K, a little one in your house, I think you'll enjoy it too. So head on over to our YouTube channel to watch that. Our auction has officially ended. However, there was a glitch in the programming and it only counted the top bidder in all of the multi-ticket events, such as dinners or hikes. So Suzette and AB are going to be manually going through the bids and contacting anyone and contacting you with an invoice today or tomorrow if you also did win that. So don't despair. You probably did win more items. And also, after the first of the year, we will hold a second chance. I think it's going to be a buy it now auction for things that didn't get bid on or didn't get all of the items didn't get bid. So there's still plenty of opportunities for you to both enrich your life with interesting items or events and also help all souls. Thanks to those of you who have bid and to those of you who will. Tuesdays with Nori, as always, will be 5:30 on Tuesday. The link to that Zoom meeting is in our e-letter and on our website. So I encourage you, we just kind of chat. It's about an hour typically, just kind of touch base and catch up and just be a little circle of support for one another. So it's always very fun. And then, of course, this Thursday will be our traditional, and by traditional, I mean Unitarian Universalist traditional Christmas Eve service, where we will have a Zoom service of candles and carols, and the choir and band and readers have all put a lot of work into that, as they have for today's cantata. So I think you're going to enjoy it. And yeah, Mark said, not to mention the 2019 absinthe tasting will be rescheduled for 2021. Excellent, excellent as always. So thanks. Let's take a few minutes to just kind of scroll through and see who's here and greet one another. Good to see everyone. Looking good. Some new people. Oh, I also forgot to mention, if you're new and you feel like giving a shout out, just shout out in the chat, and Lynn Hannon or Linda Nix will greet you privately and just greet you and make sure you have access to all of the great things that we can offer here at All Souls. But we're particularly delighted to see you. It's so good to see everyone here today. We gather here every week, not because we must, but because we can. We come not in spite of our differences, but to flaunt our diversity. We gather from every socioeconomic stream, race, ethnicity, gender identity, age, ability, and we find that we're stronger and definitely more fabulous when we can bring all of who we are into this Zoom room and be seen and loved for all of who we are. We gather at this time of year to tell stories, to keep each other warm, to keep each other company as we face the longest night of the year. And so let's take a deep breath and breathe in the divinity of this hour brought here to you by you as I ring the bell and we light the chalice.
They say that spring will come again, but no one knows exactly when. Still the sun's a long lost friend on the longest night of the year. We stare into the firelight So keep me safe and hold me tight. Let the candle burn all night. Tomorrow welcome back the light. It was the longest night of the year. So make a vow when solstice comes to find the light in everyone. Keep the faith and bang the drum on the longest night of the year. So keep me safe and hold me tight. Let the candle burn all night. Tomorrow welcome back the light. It was the longest night of the year. So keep me safe and hold me tight. Let the candle burn all night. Tomorrow welcome back the light. It was the longest night of the year. After the longest night of the year.
We are counting down to the longest night of the year, the shortest day, the time when our ancestors feared that light might disappear altogether as daily the sky darkened earlier and earlier. Although normally this is one of our most frenetic seasons, filled with holiday parties, bright lights, frenzied shopping, and crazy drivers, sorry about that. This year, we mirror the practice of the ancient days, better, though not necessarily by choice. For the ancients, this was a time of stillness, of gathering quietly together, of building a fire as big as they dared to ward off the darkness and find comfort in the warmth and light reflected off the faces of their community as they told stories of surviving the darkness in years past. This year, we too are gathering in small circles with only the humans and animals in our household circle, with other family members and friends via Zoom. This year, many of us are feeling the tightness of loneliness more acutely as we long for human companionship. One thing that remains the same is that this year, we still want to ward off the darkness. In the old days, it was with the fire, and until this year, it was with all those parties and shopping expeditions I just mentioned. We fear the shadows, the darkness of our lives. We don't want to be still and sit in the silent night of our fears and terrors, our shame and regrets, our ugliness that is as much a part of our human birthright as is our opposable thumbs and ability to draw meaning from life. We would do almost anything to not have to spend time in the darkness of our souls. We want to pretend that it is separate from us, that we are safe inside a house of light and only waving at the shadows cast in our lives. This year, the universe has sent us a message. Regardless of our beliefs, where we live, how much money we have been sent to our rooms, told to sit still in the darkness, think about our lives and what we can offer the world. It's a difficult time for many of us being apart from the ones we love. And certainly we can choose to fill up the silence with the incessant drama or comedy of Netflix or Hulu. But on this special winter solstice eve, I'm inviting us to do something different, to be with the silence, the sadness, the loneliness, the yearning, and ultimately the hope, the love, the beauty that still exists, shining brightly in the night.
This reading comes to us from the Reverend Kathleen McTigue. Sit by water, a place where the sea comes in, or a little stream in the mountains, or a still lake outside your grandfather's cabin. Don't think about time, how much you've got left, how to pass it, fill, use, or spend it. Instead, consider your life, who you love and why, how blessed you are to be here, resting under a shower of birdsong, or what strange bright luck it is to be the owner for a few years of this beating heart, these wondering eyes, these ears into which the kingfisher spills her small chuckle as she dips across the water. You might ponder these things, but you could also let the whole creaking apparatus of thought come to a halt. You might surrender and let the world spill in through the 5 gates. No sentry standing surly watch, no one left to resist or defend. The innermost courtyard stands empty then, a clear fountain singing at the center.
Oh my dear sweet love, oh my dear sweet love. Now when I'm away from you, when I'm away from you, oh, when I'm away from you, well, I feel, yes, I feel so sad and blue. Well, I feel, yes, I feel so sad and blue. I just gotta say my sing my hymns, hymns to the silence. Oh, hymns to the silence. Sing my hymns to the silence. Hymns to the silence. Now I just want to get out in the countryside and just sit by the cool, clear, crystal water. Try to get my spirit way back to the feeling, so deep in my soul. Now I said I just want to feel, oh, so close to the one, so close to the one. And that's why gotta keep on singing, babe, my hymns to the silence, my hymns to the silence. Oh, hymns to the silence, hymns to the silence. sing my hymns, hymns to the silence. Keep on singing hymns to the silence. Oh, my dear sweet love. Can you feel the silence? Can you feel the silence? Can you feel the silence? Can you feel the silence?
Throughout the year, we try to keep the darkness at bay. We have night lights and bright inside lights, some even scheduled to automatically turn on at dusk, even if we're not home. We have a multitude of blue and green and red lights blinking on all of our electronics. We ward off insomnia by watching The Late Show on television. We have flashlights and candles at the ready, all to ward off the darkness that we have been wired to fear. Danger, we believe, lurks there in the darkness, where there is just enough ambient light for us to see shadows menacingly crouched, ready to pounce. In the darkness, there is no room for interpretation. Sitting with our own shadows means to be without excuse or rationalization. They can feel terrifying, of course. That's why we keep them at bay. I remember as a child being so afraid of the dark, of some unnamed, unspoken presence that resided there, that was surely maleficent, surely meant to do me harm. I would, when that fear seized me, lie in my bed, rigid with fright, wanting to turn on the light, but too afraid of the darkness to leave the cocoon of my bed. Have you ever experienced that? In her book, Learning to Walk in the Dark, Barbara Brown Taylor tells of a similar story from her young childhood. All these years later, in middle age, she ponders, whom did I refuse to let in that night? Did I turn the beloved away because of a frightening mask? Or was the beloved out there without a mask for once, asking only that I handle my fear long enough to let the divine darkness in? But the reality is that the darkness is only the other side of the light, that our lives, like a wheel, must turn. Even the moon whittles away her light until she is virtually all darkness, so that when she returns, we marvel at her beauty even more. A new moon, not the old moon with a mask, but raw and new and beautiful for the transcendent darkness she became for those few days. There comes a time when we must surrender to the inexorable pull of the wheel, to let the darkness in, both literally and metaphorically. And when we do, we can sit in that darkness, we find, after silencing the chittering of fear in our minds and hearts, our own selves, asking only to be welcomed home in the divine darkness of our lives.
This reading is entitled Nighttime by Reverend Bill Neely. When breath catches in the crisp night air, and sight turns to stars, mind to moon, silence asserts itself, breathing the beauty of night into being. Silence, breathing beauty alive.
Each new night, without effort, without planning, turns eyes from task to sky, feet from stride to stillness, thoughts from next to now.
Each new night turns endings into beginnings, holds its splendor in the awe of silence, in wordless, voiceless reverence.
The ancient night knew each eve turning the proud to humility, the sure to wondrousness, the clamorous to quiet.
The noise of days recedes into a gentle, dark embrace, exhaling into crisp silence. Held by night, new and old, embracing beginnings again.
beautiful song. In some ways, it feels as if we are observing, keeping company with not only the longest night of the year, but also the longest year of our lives. It feels as if 2020 will last at least another 5 years before we can get rid of it. At this writing, over 317,000 Americans have died of COVID-19. That's over 317,000 men, women, and children who were celebrating their own rituals at this time last year. Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, solstice, and more. If you know someone who has died of COVID, please feel free to share their name in the chat. Also, if you have survived COVID yourself, please feel free to share that good news in the chat as well. We mourn these lost lives as if they were our own loved ones. And at the end of the day, they are. We are bound together by breath and by heartbeat, by the awareness that we are one. In her blog, Rorazor, the author, Ra, eloquently writes of the complexities, division, and unity of America in these days. She writes, I don't know what to say about anything anymore, not in real-time conversation. I hide from Zooms and lives and everything else. I drop a message in the DMs or email and melt away. A friend from Australia asked how it is to be in America right now, and I say bizarre. It's bizarre, she writes. There are so many Americas. Across the street, there is no plague, and they march for accountability to close the closures. By my favorite body of water, we do not have a new president. In my birth state, prisoners move the bodies of those killed by the disease. On my street, a new president is celebrated, and his inevitable policies are preemptively protested. The TVs say that we lose an American every minute, and the restaurant down the way says that those ones are expendable. And some of the same people horrified from this language support expanding jails, which means they don't have a problem with the idea of expendable people. They just want control over who we mark as such. The clerk at my hospital says the idea of racism has been boogeymaned into something larger than it ever was. Inside, a South Asian doctor from the other side always checks my prescriptions and treatments before I go to make sure that I am safe. I am his daughter's age. She was assigned male at birth and died too young. There is a whole America that does not care, and I live there too. There is a whole America that packages up food for the houseless and tips 100%. I live there too, she writes. And we live there as well. In the midst of continued divisive false claims of election fraud, in the midst of continued abdication of leadership from the outgoing president, we must hold deeply and dearly to our oneness. We must name and claim our shared humanity and our co-creation with Mother Earth. We must join our voices with all who live and all who have gone before, our breaths joining the breaths of our ancestors, finding in the rhythm of breathing in and breathing out a new vision for tomorrow. We now have an opportunity to create this tomorrow as we share of our financial resources during this time. Instructions for giving via text, online, or with a check will be in the chat and on the following screen.
Boom, 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 boom.
to beings. Listen more often to things and to beings. The ancestors heard when the fire's voice is heard. Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the water. Those who have died have never learned the tale of active living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in the home. They are with us in the road. The dead are packed with the living. Listen more often to things and to beings. Listen more often to things and to beings. It's the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. It's the ancestors' breath in the voice of the water. Listen more often to things and to beings. Listen more often to things and to beings. It's the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. It's the ancestors' breath in the voice of the water.
This breath meditation is written by Reverend Samuel A. Trumbore. Let us turn inward now. Feel the rhythm of the breath. In and out, in and out. Find the peace of just being with the flow of the breath. Letting go of yesterday and tomorrow. Feel the restorative power of the peace of this moment. A peace large enough to open to the concerns and sorrows that trouble us. A stillness quiet enough to respond to the joys and celebrations that enliven us. There is safety here in the rhythm of the breath. The ebb and flow of life is enacted with each one. Taking in oxygen sustenance, letting go of carbon dioxide waste. Taking in the fullness of experience, letting go of the residue that wants to cling to us. Cultivate inner peace and inner safety in this sanctuary dedicated to cultivating the spirit of life, dedicated to being a beacon of love for all beings.
When we live in this present moment, we are living in the breathing in and out of our lives. When we exist in the moment of each breath, we find the path laid clear before us. We learn this important solstice lesson that sometimes we must first enter the night, or let the night enter us, or simply become one with the night to find our path. Much as we seek it in the light, it is not there. It is hidden in a place where the night sky calls us home.
In his poem, Sweet Darkness, David White says, "When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your vision has gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark where the night has eyes to recognize its own. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your womb tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing. The world was made to be free in. Give up all the other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn. Anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you."
Is the lesson that awaits us when we surrender to the sweet darkness, when we rest in the womb of the holy night. What this night births in us is the realization that within each of us is the spark of the divine, that we each carry the holy within us, that we have each been given the honor and the responsibility to be the light bearer, the life bringers to all we meet.
I have traveled many moonless nights, cold and weary, with a baby inside, and I wonder what I've done. Holy Father, you have come and chosen me now to carry your son. Do you wonder, as you watch my face, that a wiser one should have had my place, but I offer all I am for the mercy of your plan. Help me be strong. Help me be. Help me. Breath of heaven, hold me together. Be forever near me. Breath of heaven. Breath of heaven, light in my darkness, pour over me your holiness, for you are holy. Breath of heaven, hold me together, be forever
my darkness. Pour over me your holiness, for you are holy. Breath of heaven, breath of heaven, breath of heaven.
Can you feel it now? The beauty of the darkness, the peace that exists when we shut out the clamor of the world, the drum beats of doom that have been echoing our heartbeat for so long. We thought it really was the soundtrack to our lives. Listen to the silence. Breathe it in. Delight in it.
This reading is entitled Ode to Silence by Reverend Mark Bellatini. You, silence, are the ground on which we build the fragile sandcastles of our every spoken word.
You, silence, are quicksand, where curses and cockiness and arrogance find their end.
You, silence, are the strand of beach we stroll where loneliness turns into solitude, and our small heartbeats join the much vaster heartbeat of tide and wave.
You, silence, are the hand in which the pearl of the universe, grown around the painful grain of human suffering, rests in heartbreaking beauty. You, silence, are the wide, bright delta into which the river of this prayer fans out before it flows into the indigo deep, quiet, dark, and lovely.
Come, silence, fill this moment.
Two, three, four. Foghorns blowing in the night, salt sea air in the morning breeze, cars moving all along the coastline. This must be what it's all about, and this must be what paradise is like. So quiet in here, peaceful in here. It's so quiet in here, it's so peaceful in here. The warm look of radiance on your face, your heart beating so close to mine, and the evening fading in the candle glow. This must be what it's all about, and this must be what paradise is like. So quiet in here, it's so peaceful in here, it's so quiet in here, it's so peaceful in here. And struggling in this world. So many dreams that don't come true. Gotta step back and put it all away. 'Cause it don't matter anymore. And this must be what paradise is like. So quiet in here, it's so peaceful in here. It's so quiet in here, it's so peaceful in here. Glass of wine with some friends, talking to the wee hours of the dawn. I sit back and relax your mind. This must be what it's all about. And this must be what paradise is like. So quiet in here, so peaceful in here, so quiet in here, so peaceful in here. Big ships out in the night, and we're floating all across the waves, sailing on for some other shore, where we can be what we want to be. And this must be what paradise is like. It's so quiet in here, it's so peaceful in here, it's so quiet in here, it's so peaceful in here. Just listen to the silence, listen to the silence, listen to the silence.
We so wanted to hold back this darkness, this longest night of the year. But the shadows in our world, those moments we're not so proud of, those memories we fear because they bring a grief so overwhelming it might consume us, might eclipse forever the light of our days. Those dark thoughts of despair we've had, those times when we failed ourselves, all of those are equally a part of who we are, as the medal we won, the promotions we've received, the love we have shared. And it is only when we can learn to love the beauty of the darkness that we can be fully alive and centered in our light. As Scott Stabile says, the acceptance, not denial of your darkness, allows you to discover a more permanent place in your light. It is only in daring to enter into the darkness of our lives, to sit with the fear that the sun will never return, that we can fully enter into our light, not leaving the darkness behind even then, but pulling it into the center of who we are as we turn to face the rising sun. Soon the days will grow longer. Now, on the eve of the official first day of winter, we look at last to spring. In the words of Kathleen McTigue, may the light around us guide our footsteps and hold us fast to the best and most righteous that we seek. May the darkness around us nurture our dreams and give us rest, so that we may give ourselves to the work of our world. Let us seek to remember the wholeness of our lives, the weaving of light and shadow in this great and astonishing dance in which we move. As we extinguish the chalice, we do so fearlessly, recognizing that the light is within each of us, and that even in the darkest night, the longest night, the stars will light our way. We do so bravely, knowing there is still much grief and pain ahead of us as we await the vaccine for the virus that has taken this past year hostage. We do so faithfully, knowing that as long as the sun shines, we here at All Souls will sing its light into existence for our own sake and for the sake of all those with whom we share this planet, person, beast, bird, mountain, forest, river, ocean, and sky. So as we extinguish this chalice, we feel that light within us, and we join with all the earth to sing this final blessing.
May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on.
Beautifully done. Now, when we met live, we would always have to say, please hold your applause till the end of the cantata. So now we can applaud. I want to thank so much, excuse me, all those who planned, created, produced, and delivered today's service. Lauren and Mark Arnest, Ed Ben, Sherry Bristol, Pam Brown, Robert Havermill, Mike Lee, A.B. Lugo, Bill and Kathy Matthews, Wendy Mike O'Connor, the band. We're hoping for their reunion tour. Polly Ogden, me, Rick Schwartz, Sharon Skidrow, Marguerite Terze Schwartz, and Joe Wynn. And thanks to each of you for tuning in and sharing this special day with us. We're so grateful. I'm so grateful for this All Souls community. It is certainly a lifeline to me, and I hope it has been to you during this past year. In just a few moments, we're going to head into breakout rooms. It's kind of like a small coffee hour. You're all going to be randomly assigned. I hope you stick around and just chat with those in your group. The band and choir will also be joining you. They're not going to have their own session because I thought that you might want to tell them personally how much you've enjoyed this day. But for now, let's enjoy the postlude that Sharon has prepared. as always, Sharon. Thanks once again, everyone, for being here. I'll see you in the breakout rooms. Hope to see you Christmas Eve this Thursday at 7 p.m. Please make sure you have a candle to light for our candlelight portion of the service. Love you guys. See you soon.